At 9:14 p.m., the train station looked completely ordinary. Commuters milled about, waiting without any real urgency. The big departure board flickered with train times, and the ever-present security cameras silently recorded everything. Nothing about this mundane footage suggested it would be analyzed and reanalyzed for years to come. And yet, this was the last time anyone would ever see Daniel Mercer. Train stations are not quiet places. They're crowded, brightly lit, and constantly observed. They are designed, from the ground up, to prevent exactly what happened here, which is why this particular case refuses to settle into the background. The station, known to locals as Ridgeway Central, sat right between two major cities. It wasn't small enough to be overlooked, but not so massive you could just dissolve into the crowd. Over 120 cameras were operating inside that building. Every platform, every entrance, every single corridor. And on the night of October 17th, every single one of them was working perfectly. So who was Daniel Mercer? He was 29 years old. No criminal record, no known enemies, and no history of mental illness. He worked a steady job in logistics, lived alone, and always paid his bills on time. His friends described him as predictable, a word that in the world of true crime is never comforting. That evening, Daniel had told his sister he'd be home by midnight. He bought a one-way ticket to his home city. He never used it. Now let's get to the footage that everyone talks about. The most watched clip is just 2 minutes and 41 seconds long. The timestamp reads 21 hours, 12 minutes, and 8 seconds. We see Daniel enter the station through the east doors. He glances up at the departure board, adjusts the collar of his jacket, and then looks down at his phone. All completely normal behavior. Camera 14 follows him as he walks down the main corridor. Then, camera 22 captures him buying a bottle of water from a vending machine. Finally, camera 31 shows him stepping onto platform 4. And this is where things stop making any sense. This is the part investigators call the gap. At 21 hours, 14 minutes, and 52 seconds, Daniel is clearly visible on the platform, standing near the edge. But just 11 seconds later, at 21 hours, 15 minutes, and 3 seconds, he is gone. There's no footage of him leaving the platform. There's no footage of him getting on a train. And there's absolutely no footage of him entering a restricted area, like the staff rooms or the tracks. He doesn't reappear on any other camera in the station. Not inside, not outside, not later that night or ever again. And here's why that should be impossible. Platform 4 is covered by 6 different camera angles. 3 are fixed, 2 rotate on a programmed schedule, and 1 is positioned directly overhead, looking down. There is no blind spot large enough for a person to hide in, let alone walk away from, without being seen. Investigators replayed the footage frame by agonizing frame. Daniel doesn't blur. The video doesn't glitch or flicker. He isn't obscured by a passing crowd. He is simply absent. One frame he's there, the next he's not. There's a small detail that most people miss, but it might be the key to everything. At 21 hours, 14 minutes, and 47 seconds, just 5 seconds before he disappears, Daniel looks down the tracks. But it's not a casual, impatient glance like you or I would make. He leans forward slightly, almost as if he's reacting to something he sees or hears, but no train is approaching. No announcement plays over the station's speakers. And crucially, no other passengers on the platform react to anything at all. Then he straightens up. 5 seconds later, he's gone. Naturally, the first assumptions were the most obvious ones. Police considered that he might have taken his own life, but there's no footage of him jumping. No body was ever recovered from the tracks, and there was no disruption to the train service that night, which there certainly would have been. So they considered foul play, but there is no sign of a struggle. There are no suspicious individuals standing near him. No one is seen following him onto or off of the platform. They even considered it was a case of misidentification, but his fingerprints on the ticket he purchased and the water bottle he bought confirmed it was him. The footage was real. The disappearance was real. The explanation was not. Frustrated, investigators brought in technicians to examine the camera system itself. They checked for data loss. There was none. They checked for dropped frames or digital skips in the recording. None. They checked for any signs of tampering or hacking. Again, nothing. The cameras didn't fail. They simply did not record Daniel leaving, which raises a deeply unsettling question. Did he leave at all? Then, one audio analyst poring over the evidence noticed something else. It was in the sound recording from the platform camera. At 21 hours, 14 minutes, and 50 seconds, exactly 2 seconds before he vanishes, there is a low, unidentifiable sound. It's not a train, not microphone feedback, and not the wind. It lasts for less than a second, and it's so faint that most people would never even notice it. But those who have listened to it closely all say the same thing. It just feels out of place. It doesn't belong. Within a few weeks, the case stalled completely. There were no new leads, no credible sightings, and no digital activity. Daniel's bank account was never touched again. His phone was never powered on. The trail went cold in the most public place imaginable. Ridgeway Central remained open, of course. Commuters still stand on Platform 4 every single day, waiting for their trains. Most of them have no idea what happened right where they're standing. But those who do know the story, they don't tend to stay there for long. Daniel Mercer didn't vanish in the dark down a lonely alley. He vanished under bright fluorescent lights, under the unblinking eyes of a dozen cameras, and surrounded by witnesses who never even saw him leave. And that's what makes this case so deeply disturbing. Because if someone can disappear there in plain sight, with everyone watching, they can disappear anywhere. Thanks for watching. Let me know your theories in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more unsolved mysteries. This is Dark Trace.